when I was more argumentative.
You're not argumentative anymore?
Maybe this coffee will wake me up and I'll get... It's 2021, man. I'm about being nice.
Kick it!
You're a little late.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen.
That's what happens when you give him some coffee.
To another exciting episode of Hardheaded. Sitting across from me tonight is Matt Amos. To my right, as always, Chet Sears, and I am 3-Shot Trussell. Thanks for tuning in. Tonight, we're going to talk about what's on Chet's mind. We're going to have top 3 favorite coffees to drink. That's why everybody's got a
little
cup or mug of coffee sitting in front of them tonight. And
what you got there? What's your coffee cup?
That is the WWO 2020 Heritage Classic.
Yeah.
Commemorative coffee cup.
That's a good size. I like that size.
That will hold some coffee as well as a can of beer.
A whole can of beer?
Yeah, a whole can of beer.
or soda.
Or a can of soda. Whatever your preference
Soda
is.
pop.
I didn't think the pop was the selling point, but
I got my coffee mug from Bar Harbor, Maine.
ooh, that looks like it's got a lobster or a crawdad.
That would be a lobster.
Be lobster, and if it was the other, it would be a crawfish.
Oh.
That's right.
Yes.
But we won't hold that against you.
No, he's just trying to rile me up.
Yeah, well, I think we're about to get riled up with what's on your mind.
I'll tell you what's on my mind. I think we need to settle this
Once and for all.
Yeah.
What are we trying to settle?
Well,
I have no idea.
I think I have an idea.
he has an idea because he's been a little bit more loose with it lately.
Oh.
Saying referring to himself, country boy, and referring to me as a city boy.
Here we go.
Yeah. So I'll start with a couple of things, a couple of facts that Matt typically throws up when he's like, I'm more country than you, or I grew up further or deeper in the country than you. I'm a military brat. I was born in Oklahoma, just outside of Oklahoma City, just off of Tinker Air Force Base. And he's like, well, that proves it. You're a city boy, right? So we moved away from there to Japan before I was 1. So I do not consider myself, if I ever make it to be president of the United States, they're going to put hometown of President Chet Sears in Midwest City, Oklahoma. They have that right. That's what my birth certificate says. But I don't know anything about it. Now, we moved before the old memory bank started working.
So that must have been around the time that he visited the Grand Canyon.
Yeah. Which I said I don't have any recollection of it.
In diapers.
In divers.
Yeah.
I think we're his words.
Dirty Joe.
Yeah. So Matt has said because of that, there's no way I'm just a city boy, because I spent a few months in the place of my birth. But then, where's Jesus from? Jesus of
Nazareth.
Yes. Where was Jesus born, Matt?
Bethlehem.
Yeah. It's not Jesus of Bethlehem.
I don't like that you're comparing yourself to Jesus.
It's where he was. I'm comparing myself to from.
Geography only.
I was raised in Calcasieu, Louisiana.
And where is that?
Rapides Parish. Cenla, Central Louisiana. Far from any
Walmart,
McDonald's, you name it. We have one store that was near us.
Mm-hmm.
It had VHS rentals. It had your typical gas station food.
Did you have VHS?
It had, at some point we did.
Must be nice.
It was a wired, I had a wired remote.
We were too busy working.
It was a wired remote. And then
I went to Blockbuster every Friday, Saturday night. This city boy did.
It was the feed store. It was the feed store. It was the and the post office. It was all was all right there. They ran tabs. So you walk in. My dad wouldn't do it. He didn't want to get into debt. But my buddy Kevin, we'd go there and he'd be like, Mr. Donis, got a Coke and a Snickers. And he's like, all right. Write it down on his dad's tab. And if we wanted to go to town, like the heat of the summer, we had like freezer bags that we'd have to put ice cream and our milk and all that in so it wouldn't spoil or melt
right
on the drive home because it was far. And the town we were going to,
the
Matt.
The fact that you had to go buy that.
The town we had
to make.
Whatever. You lived like 8 miles from a Walmart.
Not then.
It was 12 miles.
No, the closest Walmart was actually here in Wichita, and that was at Kellogg. And is that Wet?
What's Kellogg? Kellogg's what's another name for Kellogg?
It's a highway.
Highway what?
54.
U.S. Highway 54?
Yeah.
A U.S. highway.
Yeah.
Oh, like a main thoroughfare that goes through the whole country.
Yeah, through country.
Yeah. Nowhere near me. Nowhere near. We didn't have it. There weren't state highways. It was.
Listen,
way out there.
When people think country, they're not thinking.
How many national forests did you have to drive through to get to a McDonald's?
We don't have any in Kansas.
Huh?
We've discussed that already.
Because it's so overpopulated.
We have Tallgrass Prairie that has been overrun by
bison.
Wind turbines.
Yeah. No, there's no wind turbines up there.
Where?
Tallgrass Prairie.
I'm saying not by my area.
Oh.
It's like
I thought you meant like the preserve.
No.
Oh.
No, I'm just saying that. No, so I didn't have to go. Well, I don't even know how many miles it is. Maybe 15, 20. But we had the same kind of thing because back in the day, the little grocery store was called Bogart's.
A grocery store?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Little market,
Uptown.
No, I don't know. I wouldn't know where,
See, but you're still not country because you're on the bayou in Louisiana. That's not country.
Well, here's the deal.
You're a what do they call you?
People
guys?
be like, oh, Calcasieu, yeah, I've been through there. And I'd say, no, you haven't. Like, what do you mean I haven't? It's like, because you can't go through it. You could just go to it. There's no through. And the only time you get through when the river isn't flooded on the river road, you there's a dirt road that goes through there that you can get over there and go towards Union Hill.
Well,
but
so again,
River Swamp was flooded like half the time.
You're talking again, swamp.
Country.
You're a swamp ass.
A what?
This is what you're telling me.
That's coon ass, not swamp ass.
I was getting ready to go there too. I got a bunch of different.
I'm not one of those either. I'm not that far south.
So
you ain't got your geography figured out, Matt.
Absolutely, I do. So different topography. So
what does topography have to do with mileage from a city center?
You're talking about. You're talking about all these things that make no difference.
It makes a lot of difference.
It makes no difference to the argument.
So Matt, where he grew up, if you like Google Earth it, from the center of Wichita, the nearest large metropolitan area, to Matt's house where he grew up was, I don't know, like 13 miles.
Is this accurate, Mr. Amos?
Yeah, because you hop on U.S. Highway 54.
But you have to drive to get to 54. It's not like you just it's right there. Let's turn right on.
And then for me,
you know what? What else? Let me see. U.S. 54.
Yeah.
Keep talking.
And then for you, how close is I-49 right there?
Oh no. No.
Is it anywhere close there now?
I-49 wasn't built when I was being raised. I was in college when that thing opened up.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It probably takes you about 20, 25 minutes to get to I-49. But you're going like due east towards nothing. You're just going to get on it and then there's going to be I-49.
What was the road back then?
165
to Highway
167.
1? Did any of those connect to Highway 1?
Well, they could, yeah, but not. Highway 1 went up through Shreveport.
Right.
Yeah. Most of the driving that we did was like up to Ruston, and that was on 167.
To get some peaches.
Yeah. But
Ruston peaches.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, Matt wasn't like living inside the city limits. I agree with that. I'm not saying that he's a city boy, but he's definitely was closer to all the accoutrements of a large metropolitan area. In Wichita, like back in the day when he was younger, Wichita had, I don't know, like 300,000 people living in it. Like the town we're going to do all this grocery shopping and whatever, everything revolved is like 40,000 people. So
that's still more than the town I was going to shop, because the town I was going to shop was Goddard.
And it was like 5 miles from your house. That's what I'm saying. There wasn't any shopping anywhere near where I grew up. You had to drive that far.
But you're looking at Goddard the way it is now. Just like Mays, where you live now, which is absolutely 100% in the city. Like, you are a city boy, and you just like literally redid his kitchen. I mean, come on, man.
What's between my house and your house? Wheat.
Nope. You've got the city of Colwich. You've got the city of...
Not if you go straight down 37th. You skip Colwich. But I'll tell you right, I live in the city. I live in the city.
You're not going to get to my house going through 37th. Anyway, so...
I'm just talking about where we grew up.
You would know that if you knew where the country was. And
what size was the high school you went to?
I don't even know. We had 60.
How big was your football team?
We had what is it, 12 man or whatever?
11.
Regular size.
Yeah, we didn't have one. We were smaller than that.
But we're recruiting, not just from our town. We're recruiting.
Did you play soccer? Oh, we didn't have soccer.
We didn't have soccer. I had to drive all the way to Wichita.
All the way to Wichita. Yeah.
It's a long, because my kids do it now. It's a long way.
What if you both just agreed to be country boys?
No, I'm more.
What's wrong with that?
No, because he's not. He's not. The man doesn't know how to run a tractor. He's like, hey, I need you to come plant my
You don't need
plant.
a tractor in the swamp.
Today.
I don't have a tractor.
You don't know how. Well, but you have a deer lease. But
you don't plow pine trees where I grew up.
You don't know how to plant it. Well, it's national forest. You can't do it anyway.
That's why we got. Right. That's why we got country boy Matt Amos.
That's what I'm saying.
To come help us out.
I'm just not spending that much money on a tractor for some leased property I have. That's all.
Right, I just call Matt. Hey, can I come?
It's gonna cost you as much as for those
charge you by the mile to drive up.
Can I come shoot a doe at your place?
No more does for you.
So here's the kicker. Here's where I got him. Is I said, hey man, you know, I understand, because we're looking at everything on the map, right? Satellite. I said, Matt, let's just look at Street View. You know, he's like, okay. So we pulled up Street View, looked at his house that he was, raised in. It was actually like 100 yards beyond where the Street View guy turned around. Right? He didn't like drive in front of your house.
Right.
And I said, okay, Matt, let's look at the Street View where I grew up. Hasn't been there yet. Google's like, don't need to go. That's too country. Not driving down that road.
Or not safe enough with all the coon asses. Now, you're going to have to explain what that is to some of our listeners who don't know what that is.
Well, that's not where I was raised, though. But that's a
deep South
a term
Louisiana.
Of endearment for a Cajun. That typically they call themselves that. But yeah, Cajun down south. You look around Interstate 10, Southwest Louisiana, and further south than I-10 if you go a little bit east of there.
See, and what you say, I'm not giving you a hard time today. I do it at the office about being from Oklahoma. Yeah, he's an Oklahoman. So
I am.
And
I was born there.
You were born there.
Had no control over that.
Well,
but go ahead and pick on me all you want.
I will.
For something I had no control over.
Hey, I'm just saying, your parents could have made better decisions. So I was born.
Yeah, the Air Force. Yeah, I'll make better decisions. The Air Force made my decisions.
Could have been a Marine. That's all I'm saying.
You backed him into that one, yeah.
So I was born at Wesley Hospital, probably 4 minutes from where we're recording?
Yeah.
Right here?
Yeah. What floor? Was the Tower 4 built by then?
I have no idea. I don't remember.
Memory bank wasn't making memories yet.
I was too young.
I bet your mom remembers.
She probably does. But
my Sabrina was born there.
See, and the problem with my kids, I had one that was born in California. So I have a Californian.
Mm-hmm.
Terrible. And then I've got one that was born in Missouri. So neither of my kids were born.
I have more kids born in Kansas than you do.
I got more kids born in Kansas than both of you.
Combined.
Yeah.
Well, because he doesn't have any and I only have one.
Yeah. I have 3. Oh, 4.
I was doing the math.
Sorry, I had 3 in Wesley Hospital, 1 in Via Christi, and 1 in Louisiana.
Yeah.
At Willis.
But again, I was making good choices, as a Marine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Traveling the world.
Man, I'd love to get you back home someday.
Where?
Back in Calcasieu.
Back home's right down the road here.
Huh?
His back home.
No, my back home.
Oh, you're back home.
Yeah. Take you down there, meet some good folks.
I would love
some
to
good food. Good food.
Now
good people, good
that
food.
I will give you.
love
the food in Louisiana is on point.
Yeah.
duck hunting.
Anything that I've had down there has always been spectacular.
Yeah.
Food wise.
What's the big deal?
Flooded timber duck hunt.
Yeah.
We need to go do that again.
That would be awesome. Especially if there weren't people that trespassed on the property that we were hunting to.
Oh yeah. It ruined it. That was terrible. But anyway.
All right.
Don't trespass.
So that's what's been on my mind. We just needed to settle that.
I don't think that we've settled it because
Google settled it.
Listen.
And population centers settled it. And even growth. Like, because there's a national forest between the town and where I grew up, there's no sprawl that's caused it to grow from a population perspective.
So a national park like Yellowstone with all the people
This is where you live.
is where you live.
No, it doesn't. It's a national forest, not a national park.
Whatever.
There's a huge difference.
Kind of like a national preserve that you didn't want to count a couple weeks ago.
There's a huge difference between
It
a
doesn't matter.
forest and a preserve.
Whatever.
It's got a bombing range right there in the middle of it.
Where?
The Kisatchie National Forest, right?
Oh, so you also have a bombing range, so you have millions of dollars of aircraft. That's cool.
That fly over it and drop stuff or strafe. There's some wild horses that live in the national forest.
I think y'all are both country. And y'all just need to let it go.
I can't.
He won't.
No, this is like a daily argument because he'll do something.
That's not country.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Especially when we go somewhere and he eats with chopsticks. You know,
he grew up in Japan,
I
man.
lived in Japan. I didn't grow up in
country
Japan.
boys eat with a fork.
Not when you grew up in Japan.
Not Japanese country boys.
That's a different kind of country boy.
Anyway, that's been what's on
man.
my mind. It's settled. And in my opinion, there's the population data, there's all the distance data that we drew up. There's not one single metric that came out where Matt grew up further away from population centers. His schools were bigger. He was closer to stores, all that stuff. And he was still holding tight. But when I did that Google Street View, he was just like, oh, I don't know what to say. I just don't know what to say. Because Google's like,
All I could say is that
there's not enough people on the internet.
I'm still there. I'm still living there. I'm living further out than I did before because
You needed to be more country because you were raised in the city.
that wasn't city.
Yeah,
get
because
out
we
of here.
just flip flopped. Like, I've never lived in the city, so now I'm living in the city, and you're like, I've never lived in the country, so I'm going to get a house out there.
Can you live off the land? Both
Yeah.
of you?
Yes.
Can you skin a buck?
Yes.
Run a trot line.
Run a trout line?
I skinned yours.
Then you can survive.
Oh my gosh!
City boy.
I can run a trot line.
There you go. So
That's actually something we need to do.
country boys.
We need to go run trot line.
Dude, I've got some.
I've got some too.
Yeah.
Actually. Let's use yours.
That's fine. That's fine
So
with me.
somebody steals that one, not mine.
No, it was my dad's, and he got these hooks, saltwater hooks. That just because he didn't want to have to keep them forever.
See, and the one thing about the waters here is you don't got to worry about the alligators or snakes.
Didn't worry about alligators.
Snakes.
I didn't like snakes, but I mean, alligators are everywhere. Alligators' eyes are. You probably know this from Florida. They're red
The eyes.
when you hit them with the beam. Oh, we're around them all the time. I mean, you skied.
Oh yeah, skied with them. Lake Bistano.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm not scared. I'm not a big deal for me. But now a snake, like the most scared I've ever been in a boat was my dad and I were fishing, and he got the boat right up perpendicular to the bank so we could cast down it. And he's like, in the most serious voice I've ever heard him use, "Don't move." Like, just, and I'm like, okay. Like, it was in a way that he said it in a way that I'm like, what? And it wasn't none of that. I was like, okay. And he's just like, be still. Like, don't move. Whatever you do not move. And then, so he puts the paddle in and just kind of gives a couple backstrokes, and we start backing up just a little bit. And like right here, there's a limb of a tree that we were under, and there was a water moccasin sitting like just a couple inches off the top of my head.
Oh man.
Yeah. Just sitting right up there on that limb. And when I got about right here, I could, I was like, ooh, like, go faster, Dad. Let's go. Let's get this thing going. And you got to say that. I thought I was dead. Because that thing falling in there right in my lap, Like, oh, gosh.
I hate those things.
Yep.
The scaredest I've ever been on a boat had nothing to do with
wildlife,
with animals
whatsoever.
I was hunting moose in Canada, up in the Yukon Territory, and my guide had a boat, and the name of this boat was the Water Cowboy. And now you want to talk about country? This is way more country than either one of us. But we landed at this little landing strip and then drove down to this village on the Ross River, and it was a native village. And we had to get permission from the chief, to hunt the land and all that kind of stuff. And that's where we put the boat in. And then we had to go 60 river miles up, and we put our camp 60 river miles in. Well, the way we did this hunt, it was a boat hunt, because I still wasn't real steady on the prosthetics while hunting. And so we just figured the river hunt would be easier. And so we would kind of
move along the river.
Well, we would run up and then kind of float, drift down, calling along the way and waiting for, a bull to come to the bank. Well, we weren't seeing any. Like, it was slow.
Yeah.
And so he's like, well, let's just run up as far up river as we can possibly go and see if there's anything up there. And we run up river, and we end up, we're going literally up this mountain, like through. And I'm like, I don't know how this is going to work out, because we're talking the boat maybe had a foot
on each side,
and there's boulders, and he's got the bottom of this boat. It's a river boat. It's meant to take some beatings.
Yeah.
But
did it have like the jet intake on the bottom of the outboard? Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah. Those things are pretty awesome.
It would have been super sweet.
Yeah. So instead of like a propeller on the lower unit, it would have like this square that would suck in water, and it'd spit it out like a jet ski, but on the bottom of an outboard.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They're pretty cool.
Like an impeller or something.
Yeah. Yeah. So that way you could scrape it on the gravel and it didn't matter.
Right.
But I'm not kidding you. I have never, as we were hitting those rocks, I have never sat on my balls so many times.
Wonder why?
Like, it was terrible. And he's like, oh man, there's people that would pay good money to do this. And it ain't me, man. And we finally get up, and he's like, I wonder how I'm going to turn this thing around.
Yeah.
Because it was getting
too narrow.
It was getting so narrow that we just couldn't go anymore. And so he's like, all right, well, I've got to keep the power up while we're turning around. And like, when you got no legs, the only thing that you can do is hold on with your hands. There's no really good handholds. And so I'm just bouncing just like all over the place. My nuts are taking a beating. And he finally gets this thing turned around. And as you're going down, now you've got to keep the power up, but you can't let off of it enough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so it's just you're trying to navigate to the best of his ability. We're just, wah, bam. I was like, we're so going over. I gave it up. I was like, I'm going to end up in that water. It's moving so fast. I'm going to hit a boulder. I'm going to crack my skull and I'm dead.
Yeah.
You know? But we finally make it back down to the flat, and worst boat ride of my life. Looking back, it was kind of fun, but in the moment it wasn't, right? And so we get back down to this kind of flat where the river's real wide and it's got huge banks on both sides, and all of a sudden there's a moose on the ridgeline, and we pull over. Put the anchor down, we start calling. And then he kind of drops behind because it was a bull, a cow, and a calf.
Mm-hmm.
And we're calling. He starts to look like he's coming over that edge. Helicopter. Lands. Right next to us. Fishing game.
Yep.
Chicken tags. Like, bro.
Need to see fishing license.
Bro, you didn't see the moose right there?
Yeah.
And just the fishing game ruined the hunt.
Yeah.
And he ended up knowing him. And guess what?
They don't care.
It was his helicopter company, and they were on his helicopters.
The guide?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. He's a helicopter pilot and has a company, and that
Little
was one of his helicopters. He's giving those guys the mean mug like you wouldn't believe. It was so crazy. But we ended up, we had a really good time. I ended up on that hunt. I didn't get anything.
Mm-hmm.
And, but my buddy that came up, he had never done any big game hunting whatsoever. He shot a moose the first day. He hunted over the gut pile and shot a grizzly the next day.
Wow.
And then on the third day, shot a wolf. Basically got the slam.
Yeah.
And then
Grand
spent
slam.
the rest of the time fishing,
Yeah.
catching in canoe and northern pike. And
What was that first fish?
in canoe. So it's a whitefish.
Like
I don't know how really
in
in canoe.
canoe.
And I can't tell you exactly how to spell it. It's not spelled like in canoe.
Yeah, I thought you were like he was in a canoe fishing.
No.
Like he was in canoe fishing
No,
for pike.
That's the name of the fish. And that's probably the best shore dinner or shore lunch. I can't remember which one it was that I've ever had.
Yeah.
Was my buddy's guide had brought his girlfriend up, and she was the camp cook, and he'd caught all these fish, and so she filleted them out, chopped them up, and then used barbecued Frito-Lays as the breading, and then took the fat off of the moose that he had shot and rendered the fat down, and then that's what she cooked the fish in, was the moose
Whoa.
fat. It was the best fish I've ever had in my life.
That sounds good.
Bar none. Phenomenal time.
Wow.
Super
Cool.
good.
I want to cook some fish and some moose fat.
It's moose fat is actually
Moose. Everything I've had from a moose has been good.
it's super good. Super good. What were we talking about? I don't remember.
I'm more country than you, and then you're talking about like in the
Getting stomach nuts.
Canadian bush.
They weren't even. If they'd have gone up into my stomach, that would have been better.
Throat nuts.
So anything's better than what I was sitting on, because
Oh, man. All right. Well, let's take a break and come back with top 3.
I got some Admiral's Pennant beard oil in the mail, and I tried to open it up, but then I realized it's not the lid right here. It's actually taped in the middle. So
That's fancy.
For those of you that are going there and buying that, all you've got to do is just open this thing up. I've got a dropper. It comes with a little bit of a...
So they actually come with an orifice reducer or the dropper.
Put
So whatever method you
couple
prefer.
drops in your hand and rub it in. Oh, I love that 1815, man. It smells so good.
You know the good thing though?
So
I can't
good.
smell you over here.
Yeah. That's good in a couple different ways. It's good because I don't stink, and it's good because this isn't overpowering. It's not like wearing cologne, but it's right under my nose, so.
That's the good stuff. Check it out.
AdmiralsPennant.com. Welcome back. As we sip our delicious coffees here, we're going to jump into the top 3 favorite coffees.
All right, Matt.
Well, I'm going to kick this off with number 3.
Right on. Thank
I'm
you.
going to do this right. The Donut Shop Medium K-Cup for the Keurig. That's what I've got in my cup right now.
Yeah. That's
was-
about all you'll drink here.
Yeah, it's the only coffee that we have here that I'll drink. It's got, I don't know, it's got a good flavor. It's not real strong. I don't like real
Dark.
super strong dark coffee because it just messes with my stomach too much. But no, it's a good cup of Joe. And I was introduced to Keurig like maybe a year ago.
Yeah.
I think about a year ago. And it's better than Folgers, in my opinion.
I would tend to agree.
Doesn't have a good catch line advertisement song though.
No, I don't even know if I've ever seen an advertisement for Keurig.
Best part of waking
That's right, man.
up.
Is Keurig K-Cup in your
Donut shop.
Donut shop in your cup.
So
You're welcome.
that would be my
Number 3.
number 3. Number 2 is Berzerker blend by Black Rifle Coffee Company, and it's made specifically for Viking Tactics. So Kyle Lamb is the owner, and I happened to be in hunting camp with him, and he brought some coffee in, and I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot. Started drinking it, and I was like, wow, this is actually a really good cup of coffee. And he goes, funny you should say that. That's actually the blend that is made for us by Black Rifle Coffee Company. And I don't know really here locally anywhere you can get it, but I know at like Shields in Montana, I know they carry it. And then obviously you can get it directly from his website at Viking Tactics.
Yeah.
You can get the coffee there. But pretty good cup of coffee. It's not too strong. Doesn't have a whole lot of like really high caffeine content, just pretty mild.
I don't know. Berserker sounds like it should be high.
I think the Death Punch is the, the high one. But
Yes.
it might be, I can't remember what it's called. But anyway, I didn't taste that one because everybody said that it tastes like crap.
Yeah.
So I just stuck with the Berzerker. It's actually a really good blend. Smells great.
Yeah. I've never had any Black Rifle coffee. I've heard lots about it.
I've had a few, but this is by far my favorite is the Berzerker blend.
Yeah.
And
I'll tell you, just being in camp, whatever you're drinking, the flavor profile goes up like tenfold.
everything tastes better when you're in camp.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Number 1, I got an education a few weeks ago in Kentucky.
Okay.
And I was introduced to Nespresso.
To what?
The Nespresso.
Nespresso? Yeah. I've heard of this.
So it's not the $100 one.
Okay.
It's, and I think I don't know, they've got different,
Okay.
the,
Is this like a little disc?
yeah, well, it's a little pod, but they're super small.
Mm-hmm.
And they only make an espresso, like if you have an espresso cup, it's meant for that.
Okay.
But you can go, they've got on this machine, it's like, I can't remember, it's like a $600 machine. It's got like a milk frother on one side and then, or cream, I guess. And then on the other side is where you put your cup.
Sounds real city boy to me.
This is super city. And so, but
I don't even know what he's talking about.
But I kid you not, and it's got all these little, like, it's got a digital thing up top where you just kind of scroll through and, what you want to make, if you want to make an espresso, if you want to make a, I don't know, cappuccino or whatever. And then they've got lungo. I don't even know what it means. She just said, that's what you want. And I said, okay, I'll make
Lungo?
Lungo. And so I put the pot in, and the one that I like, because I more prefer decaf coffee, because I don't like caffeine really.
Staying up all night?
Well, not necessarily.
Caffeine doesn't bother me.
Caffeine it makes me jittery anymore. I don't know why, but so I don't like it too much. But it's called the I think I'm pronouncing it right. Ristretto
Okay.
Italiano
Yeah.
decaf, and bar none, the absolute best cup of coffee I've ever had.
You doctor it and you sugar.
I didn't have to on this one.
Yeah.
When it goes into the cup, there's this froth that's on top. And when if you did add cream or something like that, that's where they draw the hearts and all that kind of stuff in it. When you go to the fancy coffee shops. And
I see Chet's wheels turning.
He was like, I shouldn't have said that. I can see it in your face as soon as you said
I
it.
saw it advertised online.
Oh, whatever. Matt's over there every morning. You're like, how do they do that heart thing? It's like, hey, pour that.
Is what it is.
Here's a heart, Ron.
It's a talent. I don't know. But
the things that come out of your mouth you wish you could take back.
I don't wish I could take that back.
You looked at you're like, oh,
I knew you were going to say something retarded. But
hats off to all you baristas out there.
Yeah, I don't know how they do it.
Tough stuff. Yeah, have you seen?
But it was
the printers that they have now that print stuff on top of the froth.
I've seen somebody hold like a sheet of paper over there and then throw like a.
No, they have like a printer that will print like a face or whatever you want, a logo or what on the top.
I'll take things that are a waste of money for $300, Alex.
Right, exactly.
What do we call Beyond City? That's Beyond City.
I don't know.
There's got to be a name. We got to come up with a name for that.
Beyond City. Sorry, this is coffee speaking.
Yeah. Metro.
Urban?
Mm-mm.
No.
Anyway, super smooth. The flavor was phenomenal. And
Do you have to hold your pinky out when you drink it?
No, because I use a regular coffee cup, even though you're not supposed to, even though it only fills up like the bottom, eighth of your cup.
Yeah.
But you don't have to add anything to it. It's so smooth. There's no bitterness to it whatsoever. It was just super good. It might have been just this particular blend.
Yeah.
So if it tasted good, black. When I doctored it up and put a little bit of cream and sugar in it, amazing.
Yeah.
Super good. And because the decaf, because when I used to drink a lot of coffee, I was almost a 2-pot a day coffee drinking type of guy. And caffeine never affected me whatsoever. I could literally drink it whenever, whatever time of day and go right to sleep. Never affected me. That's not the case now. So that's why I do the decaf, because it is nice after dinner when everybody's having dessert.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like many desserts, so I would
not unless
prefer
they have sprinkles and pink icing.
pink ice. Yeah, whatever. But even that, it's not a dessert cookie. Okay, that's like a midday, like I need a snack type of cookie.
Okay.
But
I'm not into desserts, but I know what time of day you can eat this.
they're a good breakfast cookie too.
Okay.
I'm not joking. They're good. Try them out. What was I saying?
You were saying you would enjoy drinking one of those for dessert.
Well, yeah,
it being
while
decaf and everybody else eating all that, you're going to pour yourself a cup of coffee.
Yeah, I'm going to sit there and have a cup of coffee while we're chilling after the day of work or whatever we're doing. And
yeah, my grandmother, my mom's mom, my mom and my dad all like drinking a cup of coffee after they have a meal. There's like, oh, just ate lunch, 30 minutes ago. It's time for my afternoon coffee and dinner. Oh, I'd love a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the way our house was. There was always coffee. Hey, we're going to have dessert.
Mm-hmm.
Make some coffee. We had people over. You want some coffee?
Right.
It was good.
Yep.
It's like how they drink tea across the pond. We
That's
drink
right.
coffee over here.
Now, I do like tea.
Mm-hmm.
But they do it a little bit differently in Afghanistan because that's the only tea that I've had hot tea that I've had that I've liked. But they take the tea leaves and they have them in the pot, and then they pour the boiling water into the pot and then just leave the leaves in there. And then when they pour you your cup, you're going to have the bottom of your cup's going to have tea leaves in it. And so you've got to, when you drink, there might be a stem, you got to spit the stem out and stuff like that. But you put a little sugar in that, which they don't do. We Americans do that. We sweeten everything up, but super good. That's the only hot tea that I liked. And that stuff will jack you up. That might be where my caffeine problems came from, because that stuff was
pretty powerful.
Oh, it was potent.
Cool.
Anyway, those are my top three. Was that Nespresso is my favorite by far. And I was just introduced to it. I've got to go spend like $600 and get one of those machines.
Yeah, it's not that good. That's crazy.
600. Yeah. All right, Chet, what you got?
All right, I'm going with brands, not like specific flavors. I didn't go down to that level of detail.
You're okay. You can do that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate that. Very gracious of you.
Yeah.
Number 3, the Kona Hawaiian coffee brand. So my wife and I got to go tour a coffee plantation back on our honeymoon, and I've been a fan. It's over here. It's everywhere just about now. Back then it wasn't, but it's good. It's kind of robust, but a really good coffee. The second one would be Britt coffee from Costa Rica. So we've spent a little bit of time there, and always enjoy the coffee. And I've had different blends from Britt, and all of them are good. Again, it's a little bit more on the robust side of things. It's not that light, but we typically like it, a little bit lighter. So when we make it, it's a little bit weaker than a normal cup of coffee that we'd make here, or a normal pot that we'd make. Number 1, hands down, Community Coffee from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. If we want to go flavors here, if it's flavored, not the breakfast blend or the regular blend, the pecan praline. Ooh, man, that's good. That's really good. So typically when I'm down, if I'm down south ever, I'll pick up a few bags of this, and then we've gotten so desperate sometimes we'll just order it online. I did reach out to Walmart. They're on Mays and 21st at New Market, and said, you guys need to start carrying Community Coffee. And they did. And
nice.
But they just brought in like the breakfast
blends and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, nothing. I was just,
dark. Didn't they bring dark roast?
Maybe.
Well, I know the neighborhood Walmart.
Yeah.
South of there started carrying breakfast blend and dark roast. And a couple others when we lived right over there. Yeah. Because I was like, oh, wow, look, Community Coffee.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. That was all you.
That and Academy Sports being in Wichita.
That's right. I wish you would just get a Cantina Labreda here.
No, I'm shooting for Canes. Raisin Canes.
Just don't
Raisin
know.
Canes. Come on, West Wichita.
Yeah, you do need to come to West Wichita. I'm in agreement there, but there's so many chicken strip places in Wichita.
Is that the one you're telling me about?
Yeah.
It's the best chicken strip place in the country.
Yeah. And it's not like all the other chicken strip places that do everything. Like you get 2 tenders, fries and coleslaw, 3 tenders, fries and coleslaw, or 4 tenders, fries and coleslaw.
There's no chicken sandwiches. There's no waffles. There's no nothing. It's
Texas toast, fries, coleslaw, and chicken.
That's
so this is just how much chicken do you want?
I like it.
Yeah.
Simple menus.
Dude. And it's great. I mean, there's no, like, training is easy, inventory, easy. Like, we just cook chicken, french fries, and coleslaw. Like, that's it.
Now, back to your coffee.
Yeah.
The Kona.
Uh-huh.
Is that like a one you can normally buy?
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen it at Dillon's.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What's the one where the cat eats the coffee beans, poops them out, and then they...
There's a bat. Is it a cat or a bat? I think it's a bat.
No, there's a cat.
I'm pretty sure it's a bat.
It's a cat. Now, they might have bat. I don't know. Maybe that's how we got the virus. I don't know.
It's a cat with a bat.
No, I'm about to...
In the hat.
He's going to research this, but while he's researching the cat poop coffee, Troy.
Number 3 on my list is Dunkin Donuts coffee.
That's not a bad choice. I do like some Dunkin' coffee.
Pretty good.
Yep.
They sell it at Sam's in the big container.
Yep.
Easy access.
That's what I always had in camp prior to getting my Keurig.
Ah, there you go.
Yep.
It's good.
Which will now be replaced by a $600 Nespresso.
And if you do that, I'm going to whack you with a ruler across the back of your hands.
I'm going to be so refined. It's going to be the refined country boy. It's going to be good.
There you go.
It's going to be good.
Number 2, community coffee. Any
Heck
flavor.
Yeah.
I like the breakfast blend.
Oh my gosh.
What would you call it? The
Pecan praline.
pecan praline. That is.
I've got breaking news.
What is? Oh, breaking news. What happened?
Breaking news. There's cat poop coffee. You're right. Wow. There's bat poop coffee. There's monkey poop coffee. There's elephant poop coffee and bird poop coffee.
Ooh.
There you go. So you're right. I'm right.
I will say.
And if you were to just name an animal, they probably poop it out and make coffee out of it too.
Snake poop coffee.
I don't know about that.
Now you're on to something. We ought to.
Oh my god!
I know that those coffees are super, super expensive.
Here's a
because if it goes through feces,
here's
it
one.
might as well be expensive, right?
It's the process, man. The price always comes from the process. You've literally got to hold this cat down.
A whole bean bag of this bat poop coffee, $99.
No, thank you.
I'm not. I mean, that's how we get more viruses. I'm not doing that.
And the cat poop is $99.99. The other was $99.95.
Ooh.
So there's only 10 left in stock.
What about the elephant poop? I'd be interested in some elephant poop coffee.
Yeah. You imagine how much you have to dig through to get to the bean from an elephant. That's a lot of poop.
Reminds me of Jurassic Park. That's a huge pile.
Is it still steaming when they pull it out? I mean, what's the?
Oh,
so your number? Did I interrupt you in community?
Yeah,
and that was number 2.
That was my number 2. Community coffee,
Yeah.
Any flavor really. And then my number 1 is Cameron coffee.
Never heard of it.
Specifically, the southern toasted pecan flavor.
Cameron?
It's Cameron. It's got this little lion head. You can buy it at Target.
Yeah.
We started getting it because we didn't see community anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And it was cheaper.
Yeah.
So we're like, oh, let's try this. They make a toasted southern toasted pecan flavor.
Yeah.
So let's try it. It's delicious.
Oh man, we may have to try that.
Love it. It's like $5.99 for those.
The old Sears house may have to get a hold of some of that.
Yeah,
because that's the thing I found. Well, like with everything, like Tony Chachere's here.
Yeah,
is like 2 times what you get it in Louisiana. Same with community coffee. Like it's so much more expensive up here.
Yeah. Well, they got to import it across state lines.
Yeah, I got to go through Oklahoma, my home state.
That's exactly right.
Oh man,
just to get here.
I will say though, there's a lot of country in Oklahoma. There's a lot. There's not a whole lot in Oklahoma. Just not.
They have so Oklahoma City's got over 1 million people that live there, and Tulsa's about the same.
Yeah, but I don't look at the cities. I look at the rest of the state.
Yeah, I know, but that's just like 2 million people. Whereas Kansas's largest city is Wichita, and we've got like 400,000.
Yeah, they're bigger.
Yeah,
population wise.
Yeah. But they're kind of tied to a couple of population centers,
Tulsa,
much like Kansas.
Tulsa.
Yeah.
Oklahoma City. What else?
Lawton.
And then more. I mean, Oklahoma City's kind of grown into
that's
more.
Part of the metro. More, Norman, that whole, you don't know when you're.
We're probably getting ready to see them on the news again here pretty soon.
Tornado. Yep. They're about due.
All right. Well, Matt, why don't you bring us a good word? Wrap this thing up.
Pull out your notes.
I've got my notes. So the past few weeks / back into month, good friend of mine was diagnosed with a brain tumor. And it's, he's one of those guys that, you question, like, why?
Mm-hmm.
Like there are plenty of people on this planet who probably deserve to have that.
Okay.
He's not one of them.
Yeah.
Right. there's plenty of turd people out there, and he's not one of the turd people.
Yeah.
And so, and it's tough, explaining to a lot of people that know him, when they start to question, why would God let this happen, or why, and
Yeah.
and we all know that's not the case. Because they're thinking in the short term. They're not thinking about eternally.
Yeah.
Right. And so, this life's only the beginning. This is like step one.
Right.
What's on the other side is where the good stuff happens. Because we know that here on earth, we're going to have the challenges that we have and all that. And so I was reminded of a verse as I was explaining some of this to him in the best way that I could, is, we don't know God's plan. We don't know how he's working, because we can't pretend to understand the infinite mind. And, I go back to even my injury and looking at everything that I've been through and the blessings that I've received through being injured. And I wouldn't go back and change any of that at all, ever.
Right.
And so, case in point, I never would have met this gentleman, and he's had a huge, huge impact on my life. And so I was reminded of Proverbs 3, Proverbs, coffee's getting to me. It's warm on my lips. They're not working right. Proverbs 3, I can't even do it. 5-6. And it's trust in the Lord with all your heart and do not lean on your own knowledge. In all your ways, acknowledge him and he will make your paths straight. And so when the going gets tough and you don't understand what's going on, lean on God, lean on his word, and he will set the path straight. You don't have to worry about where you're going, what you're doing. He's taking care of that. He knows. All you got to do is follow him and he will make it clear for you. And so I wanted to try to relay that to anybody out there who might be going through issues or challenges and questioning their faith. Because there's a lot of people out there, if something bad happens and they're like, now my faith in God is questioned.
Right.
And so I'm not one of those people. I'm always kind of the person that's like, I can't wait to see how he's going to use this to his glory. Right. So it's a perspective. It's a point of view that I think a lot of people could benefit from. And so it's kind of,
that verse was very comforting to me when my mom was diagnosed with cancer, and she was given less than a year, like when they like it was stage 4, and just with some of the other health issues that she had, and knowing that for her, for me, was pretty awesome. I mean, hearing the news is not, but saying, hey, you have a limited amount of time. The doctor used the words, you will die of this. Like this, you will never be cancer free. And you are not going to make it a year from now. Like that's my best diagnosis I can give you. I don't know if you're going to go all the way up to, right up to a year, or if it'll be next month, but we know it's not going to be. And from that point on, like my mom wasn't getting around real well already. She's like, I want a wheelchair, and I want to go here, and I want to go to this, and I want to go to that. And I looked at that as her path being made straight. Like she knew if I want an opportunity to spend time with my grandkids, I'm going to take it. Like I'm not going to put it off. Or if I want to go see the play, I'm going. Like, before, I'm not feeling too well, I'll just catch the next one. She's like, nope, I'm going, no matter what, and I just, her, when her birthday came around back in April, I just remembered she loves singing, and like, hey, there's a Christmas sing along. I'm going, let's go. And I'm like, we'll all go. And we, this is gonna be the last one, so, paths being made straight sometimes isn't always good news, but when I mean, you kind of behave a little bit more differently.
Yeah.
Like, I want to see these people. I want to do this. I'm going to go do that. And then, like you said, because this is as bad as it's going to get. And when that time comes, it's going to be really cool for her, you know, like it's over at that point from all the earthly struggles, all the health issues, everything that she's been through. And then it's going to be, I mean, in glory, right?
The heavenly body.
Yeah.
Whatever that might look like.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And so, I mean, and he and I were riding around in a truck, you know, and he, we stopped or we were riding around in a Ranger or something like that. And he's like, you know, he goes, if you could know that you had a limited amount of time left, is that the way that you would want it? Or would you prefer to be like, just have a heart attack and go, or be struck by lightning and go, you know, be blown up
right,
and die right there? Or would you like to have that time? And really made me think, you know, it's like, be honest with you, man, I'd like to have that.
I'd like to know.
Probably like to have that time.
Yeah.
Right. I'm given a timeline. I can get my affairs in order. I can, you know, I can make everything the way I want it. Right. Yeah. And so I think that there is a sense of freedom in that a lot of people just, they don't understand because they're not there.
Yeah.
You know, they're not in that position. Mm-hmm. But the way that he has approached this whole thing, I don't know that I've seen anybody that strong in my entire life ever.
Yeah. Super
incredible to see. He's like, well, this definitely wasn't what I planned on, but it's what I got to deal with. And I'm going to,
and he's fighting. Like he's going to get every ounce he can get out of his prognosis
100%.
Based on the treatment. Yeah.
And that's what he said. He goes, I'm going to fight as hard as I can, but I'm going to live like I want to live as long as I can. So I was like, man, it's pretty awesome, you know. And I think it's a lot harder on all of us than it is on that actual person. It's kind of like, you know, being in the hospital, which was super easy on me, but extremely difficult on my wife, my kids, my mom.
Your support network.
Yeah. You know, harder on them than it was on me. And so, you know, just looking at that and realizing that our body, you know, I heard it explained on Unashamed, which again, I don't know how many times I quote them.
Yeah.
They're a good podcast. You know, as they go back to the biblical description of the body as a tent, you know, and we're all, you know, if you think back to, you know, when you're camping and it's cold outside and you're sleeping in your tent, you know, and this is a different analogy than they use, and it's just kind of my own twist on it. But, you know, when it's in the morning, you know, you're waking up, it's cold outside, you don't want to leave the tent. Mm-hmm. You want to stay in there where it's comfortable, where you know, hey, I can lay here, read this book, do whatever.
As soon as I get out of this sleeping bag and start moving, I'm going to get cold.
Yeah, it's going to be terrible, right?
Yeah.
But once you get out of that tent, that's where the real adventure begins, right? And so that's kind of the way that I've tried to relay this whole situation to these people. But that one right there with, you know, we don't need to understand, because God's got the plan, and just rely on him to.
So I kind of thought about this, in a little different way. And I have a question for you from a combat Marine. Was there a little bit of that with you guys deployed, doing what you were doing? And I mean, you know, you look at Sangin, and there's so many people that weren't coming back,
right?
You know, and what made me think about it was a Gold Star mom that I know just had the anniversary of her son being killed in combat, and she posted a picture of the letter that he wrote, and me just thinking how many soldiers wrote those letters and how many got delivered and how many got trashed, right? But he was in a mindset when he wrote that letter that I'm not coming back, you know. And I think maybe, you know, that's a little bit freeing for him. He's already made peace with that. He's already said what he wanted to say to his parents in writing. And I'm going to go out and I'm going to do what I have to do for the guy next to me, you know?
Yep.
So was there some of that with you guys over there? And
Yeah, and I can't speak. I know that some guys had written those letters and all that kind of stuff, and I really didn't. I just thought, I'm not going to will this into existence, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't have a letter or anything like that, but I did tell my wife before I left. I was like, now listen, this deployment to Afghanistan is a little bit different than the previous 2 that I've been on. I go, it is a much more dangerous battle space than where I was previously. And even though I was injured in that battle space, this was still just a more kinetic environment.
Yeah.
And I said, I don't know how bad it's going to be, but it could be bad. So just be prepared.
Mm-hmm.
And I was good after I'd said that, and I mean, when I tell my kids, wife and kids bye, I'm like, tell them you love them. And,
yeah,
I mean, at that point I'm good. Right.
Yeah.
And even when I was, I don't know if I've said this before on the podcast or not, but even when I was laying on the ground, after stepping on the IED, it was just as simple as, I said, well, Lord, if this is my time, it's my time. I'm ready to go. If it's not, show me what you want me to do. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, I think we did talk about that because I said,
how peaceful it was.
Yeah, it was super peaceful, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was just like, all right, man, I'm good.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of the mindset of a lot of those guys. And I feel bad for people that aren't believers that go through something like that, because
the hope isn't there.
The hope isn't there. That to them, that is the end.
Yeah.
And I don't know that I would want to live that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Personally.
Man, that's deep. That's deep, but it's definitely a good word. And ought to be motivating for those of you that don't know Jesus to go find him.
Yeah.
Yep. Find him for sure.
Yeah.
Because you never know. You could be the one that gets struck by lightning, hit by a car.
Right.
Something. And it's over. You lost your chance.
Yep.
All right.
You ready to go?
That was a good episode,
man, yeah.
guys.
And then we're going to play some loud music right now and be all excited.
Yeah.
And go.
All right. Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in to another episode of Hardheaded. Don't forget to leave us a comment what your top 3 coffees are. Leave us a review wherever our podcasts are, Apple, Spotify. Also, check us out on YouTube, Rumble, if you want to see us live in action. And we'll see you next week.
All right. Good job.